Hello and welcome back, everyone. I, Shelza Patel, welcome you all on the fourth day of Web Chronicles into the vortex of web development. We have come a long way. Together, we learned HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JS, and React. Now, you might be wondering what else we are going to do today. Any guesses? Well, today we are here with another interesting segment of this event, that is Angular. I think many of you have heard this name for the first time. Worry not. We will make you familiar with Angular by the end of this session. If you have never created Angular application before and have a little JavaScript experience, then you are at the right place to begin your journey with Angular. For this, I would like to invite Khushi Gandhi to take this session ahead.
Hello everyone. Now I will share my screen first. Just a moment. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes, Khushi, it is visible.
All right. Hello everyone. It's good to see so many people are interested in learning Angular. Today, as we go ahead, we will also go through tips and tricks to help you learn Angular. Okay, so as we go ahead, we will also go through some tips and tricks to help you build websites in such a way that there will be less or no need to understand TypeScript while also utilizing JavaScript. I'm hoping that this session will not only help you get started with Angular, but also help you gain some prior knowledge if you've chosen Angular as your preference in Google Solution Challenge. So let's begin. So what we will be learning today is what is Angular, important terms in Angular. Then we will also learn evolution of Angular, how it works, major requirements for practicals, and then we will be doing a practical implementation for the same. Starting with what is Angular. Angular is a development platform built on TypeScript. As a platform, Angular framework is used for building scalable web applications. Basically, it is a collection of well-integrated libraries that cover a wide variety of features to help you develop, build, test, and update your code. Then, if we talk about Angular in mean stack, the mean Angular, the mean acronym is cool and all, but what does it mean? Well, it just stands for the technologies it uses. MongoDB, Express, Angular, and Node.js. The nitty-gritty of mean stack, starting with good old MongoDB. It's a NoSQL database, with meaning it is unstructured. Express is a robust Node.js web application framework that makes writing Node.js code simpler. It's a middleware based, meaning it funnels requests through functions, including routing and view rendering. Well, if we talk about Angular, it is a client-side JavaScript framework built using TypeScript that renders UI with dynamic data. Angular runs on a component tree model, meaning you can create a very modular UI with reusable components. Node.js is a JavaScript runtime built on Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine. It allows you to write modular modern JavaScript for your server-side logic, where it is also responsible for interaction with your database and listens response to client-side requests. If we talk about TypeScript versus JavaScript, TypeScript is a programming language that is developed and maintained by Microsoft. Well, it is a strict syntactical superset of JavaScript and adds optional static typing to the language. At the end, when we compile TypeScript code, it gets converted into JavaScript itself. Since TypeScript is the superset of JavaScript, we can also write JavaScript code in it. Now, why we use TypeScript with Angular? We use TypeScript with Angular because it provides several benefits like consistency, productivity, maintainability, modularity, and it catches errors easily. Next, if we talk about features of Angular, first of all, it is a cross-platform. It it is cross-platform and compatible with multiple browsers. An Angular application can typically run on all browsers. For example, if we talk about Chrome, Firefox, and different operating systems such as Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Then the second feature is lazy loading. Lazy loading is the process of loading components, modules, or other assets of a website as they're required. Since Angular creates a single page application, all of its components are loaded at once. This means that a lot of unnecessary libraries or modules might be loaded as well. Then it is component based, which means that Angular enables users to build their components that can pack functionalities along with rendering logic into reusable pieces. Then it is test friendly. It means that tests are first class tools and Angular has been built from ground up with testability in mind. You will have the ability to test every part of your application, which is highly recommended. Lastly, data binding. Angular enables users to effortlessly move data from JavaScript code to the view and react to user events without having to write any code manually. Then, for example, if we look at these websites that are built using Angular, there are many popular websites. As you can see, there is Google Express, GitHub, Community, Forbes, and etc. If we talk why Angular, we can see, for example, Gmail. Why was Gmail created using Angular? So first point was that once the app is loaded, you can open any email or check any category with no delay. Secondly, even if there's no internet connection, you can open some recent emails. Then lastly, it provides faster performance and it is easy to maintain. Then if we talk about why Forbes use Angular, then it not only that Forbes is 100% responsive. Thanks to Angular, Forbes has almost instant rendering. Rendering means when the data is brought to the front end, even when your internet connection is less than perfect. Okay. Then next, the important terms, that is Angular and Angularjs. So the first version of the framework, that is Angularjs, laid the foundation of the present day front-end application. Due to its unpredictable change detection system and robustness, the developers at Google needed to rewrite the framework to make Angular. Then, if we see the difference between them, Angular was written in JavaScript, AngularJS, while Angular is written in TypeScript. Then AngularJS uses model view controller, while Angular uses components and directives, which we will also discuss later. Then AngularJS does not use dependency injection. Now you will ask, what is dependency injection? So it is basically how an Angular enables users to write modular services and inject them wherever they are needed. Okay, so this provides testability and reusability of the same services. So Angular uses dependency injections while AngularJS does not. Lastly, AngularJS is less manageable while Angular has better structure compared to AngularJS. So I recently read an article on AngularJS, which I would very much like to share with you all. So do check out the link that I am posting in the comment box. Just a moment. So, hope you are able to understand what I am telling. You can also put in the comment box if you are not able to understand anything. Then, as we continue, okay, so next comes Angular timeline. Okay, so you might have heard about different Angular versions like Angular 2, Angular 4, Angular 8, etc. In the diagram, you can see some of the Angular versions, and there are many more releases in between. So the rewrite of AngularJS was called Angular 2, but this led to confusion among developers. So to clarify, the team announced that the separate terms should be used for each framework, with AngularJS referring to the older versions and Angular, that is without JS, referring to the versions 2 and up. So the latest version of Angular is Angular 13, which was released on December 15th, 2021. So the Angular development team has also pledged to do a twice a year upgrade. So we can see, you can see at other websites also, there are many more releases that Angular has provided. If we talk about trends in Angular, then you can see that over $110,000 is the average Angular developer salary in US, and there are more than 80,000 stars on GitHub repository of Angular. This is the stats of how Angular performance is on the website Stack Overflow. Then next comes what is components in Angular. Now, this is a very important topic. So components are the most basic UI building block of an Angular app. Okay. For example, हर पेज पे navbar edit नहीं करना पड़ता in the code. So components, I can also explain, like components are like pieces of puzzles that we can use and arrange in such a way that it makes sense. Okay, for example, if we talk about these websites, that is YouTube. Here you can see if I change any of these headings, the page does not reload. If you see this component means the part of the website. Okay, so one component will be this horizontal navbar and one will be this vertical navbar. If you see this website, then these are the other components that we are using or referring to by using routing. Routing is by providing link, and by just on a click of a button, the component will change or get rendered. Okay. And if you can see that if I click on one of these buttons, there is no loading sign here. If I do this, no loading sign. But if you see on Geeks for Geeks or other platforms that are not made using Angular, then you can see if I click on any of the links, then the page gets loaded. The content gets to the front end again and again, right? So this is the example for Angular. And next we can talk about how it works. All right. So let me explain using this diagram. Okay, you can see there is a navbar right here. There is a footer, and here is the component that we created. Let's assume that. Okay, now you might be wondering that there are times you won't like to have some components presence with the others. Like we can change this component again and again. But if we want that other components should not be present while we are on the website, for example, we can see these are the different components. If I go and play any of these videos, that is, for example, this one, then you can see that the left navbar, that is the vertical one, is not here, right? So you can do this using routing, and we can use directives in the app.component.html file. We will perform the practical later, but you can notice this, right? So yes, we will go through this later. We will get back to these questions just a moment. Then we'll get ahead for now. So there are three basic components when we create a Angular component. Now, what is the command that we use for creating an Angular component is this ng new and the project name. So it creates 4 files, that is HTML, CSS, TS, and one more is spec. The spec is used for testing, so we don't have to learn it for now. In case you have interest, you can go ahead and learn that. So here we can, I can also show you an example. For example, this is one of the project that we will go through later. Like this is one of the components that we have created using the command, that is ng new, right? Ng generate component, and the component name is component1. So you can see there is HTML file, a CSS file, a TS, that is TypeScript file, and spec, which we will not be using for now. For now. So if we talk about the next topic, that is also very important. So it is routing in Angular. Now, if we see how to add router link, that is, we can add it in different ways. Like routing is the reason that we are able to change the components whenever needed on just a click. As we discussed earlier, we can add router link so that we can simply change the page or the component on just a click. Like for example, we can add this in the A tag that we use, for example, okay. Then there is the next topic, that is directives in Angular. So directives are the classes that add additional behavior to the elements in your Angular application. So there are some important topics that I want to introduce to you guys, and you will learn more about them as you get into the deeper part of development using Angular. We can't possibly learn everything today, but we can surely begin with the journey of Angular. All right. So what directives? There are types, 3 types. That is attribute. Then there are structure, and one is custom. Then there are subparts in it. Like the attribute consists of ng class and ng style. The structure consists of ng if, ng for, and ng switch, while the custom consists of highlighter and drop down. All right, the next topic is data binding. So Angular enables user to effortlessly move data from JavaScript code to the view and react to the user events without having to write any code manually. All right. So what happens is there are 2 types of data binding. So in one-way data binding, what happens is the data flow in one direction, while in two-way data binding, the data flows in both the direction. We can see that the first one, that is interpolation, property binding, and event binding. These 3 are one-way binding, while there is the other one, two-way data binding, through which we can communicate between DOM and the component. That is, the data is flowing in both the directions. All right. Now, next is services in Angular. So, service, it is basically a reusable Angular service is designed to have all the business logic and data with different components of Angular. So we can create a service using the command ng generate service and the service name. All right. Now, before we begin with the practical, I would like to see the chat for now. Okay, so some of the questions have been answered. Is there any other question you want to learn? And components again. All right, just a minute. So you can see that when we create a component, what happens is that if you see this part, that is the component, we can easily change this part by clicking on one link. What we are doing is that we are replacing just this part. And if you want me to define it, like what is basically a component, then it is the like one of the pieces of the whole website that we will be creating or that we create. All right. Now I will use routing. All right. Now routing, let me tell you again with the example. Now if you're seeing this page, then you can see, then when I click on this link, this part of the website, then the content changes. What content? These are one of the components created. That is the part of the website. All right. So if I click on this link, what is happening is the components are changing. The rendering, that is, the data is coming to the front end again as we click on this link. All right. So this is what happens when we do routing. All right. We will learn it in detail as we perform the practicals. All right, I will tell you in detail, and we will do a practical on routing as well. You will learn it as we do the practical. All right. So, okay, let's begin with the practical. First of all, we will discuss the major requirements for what we can do is, first of all, we need three parts. That is Node.js, then the Angular CLI, and third is the text editor. All right. So what Node.js will be doing here is that, we won't be learning the complete Node.js today. Angular uses the Node.js for a large part of its built environment. Means it just helps us to install dependencies and other parts of the project. For example, the Angular CLI using npm. npm is the Node Package Manager. All right. It is not a library, language, or framework. It's just a JavaScript runtime. Okay. Then Angular CLI, that is the command line interface here, will help us initialize, develop, and maintain the applications in Angular with the help of the terminal. All right. And the text editor is basically where we will write our code. Okay, so we will be using Visual Studio Code today, which I'm hoping you all have already installed after attending the previous sessions. All right. So let's begin with the practical part of this session. Okay, no, Node.js and React are, they are first of all, they are part of one of the stack, and they have a meaning for them. Like if we talk about mean here, they are very different, each one of them, but they come together to create a website. All right. React is also front-end framework that you obviously learned about yesterday. And you can see that the Node.js is the backend runtime environment. For now, we will be using it for installing different dependencies. Okay. Angular and JavaScript. No, the difference is between TypeScript and JavaScript. That is, Angular is basically a framework based on JavaScript, but it is created using TypeScript. Now, if you see here, the difference between TypeScript and JavaScript is basically that TypeScript is superset of JavaScript. अगर हम कभी कोड भी करेंगे तो हम TypeScript के कोड में JavaScript इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं. Okay. So let's. I hope that you all are aware with Node.js as you have performed the practical yesterday as well. All right. So first of all, we'll start with the Node.js installation. This is the website. I will just paste it in the comment section. Okay. And in case you still are not able to, I will explain the procedure again. Okay, till you guys have a clear knowledge about it. All right, so this is the link. Please go to it and install the Node.js. You can see here you can download using this link named LTS and for whichever OS that you have. All right, so next I can tell you how you can know the system type. You know, for which system type you would prefer to download the Node.js. All right, so if we, just a moment, if we click right on this PC from the desktop and click on properties. All right, here you can check which kind of system type you have. Right, mine is 64-bit. So if I would download Node.js, I will download the 64-bit. I'm hoping that. All right. So how many people of you? How many people have already installed Node.js? Like from the previous sessions. You can write in the comment box. If you have installed Node.js earlier, and as soon as every others install Node.js, you can again type in the chat box. Alright, how many people are installing it right now? Great. Many of you have attended the sessions earlier properly. Alright, is there anyone who is downloading it right now? If you are, then I can tell you the other things that you have to do. As soon as you click download and the file is downloaded, you can install it by accepting the terms and clicking next to all and finally installing it. Finally, we will be confirming if the Node.js installation is successful. We will be using these two commands to check it. Like if this is the command prompt. All right. So I will type these two commands here to check if it is successfully installed. Right. I will give you the commands. Yeah. Yes, just a moment. If any one of you is installing. All right, this is the. Yes, we will get to the back to the questions after the session. For now, everyone, please put these commands in the command prompt and tell me in the chat box if they work. For example, if I want to check version. Alright, it returns the version that is installed in my PC, then npm version, I would say. So everyone has got the output like this. All right, Anam has said yes, and others. I need a reply. Please reply. Are these all right? Okay, very good. Now we will go ahead and we will install the Angular CLI. All right, let me open this and I will perform the practicals right with you. Okay, open the VS Code, VS Studio Code. Okay, use an empty folder and click right and open the file in VS Code. Like this, and in case there is no option on clicking the right, you can open using this file and then open folder. Okay. Very. Yes. So first of all, let me tell you what is Angular CLI. So Angular CLI is basically a utility tool, or we can say that it is a command line interface, and it is very important part. Then it is very easy to set up and use, and it comprises of simple commands. Okay, it is used to initialize, then we can develop and maintain the applications through the terminal. Okay, now let me tell you. Right, now this is how you can open the terminal in VS Code. I am hoping that many of you will be aware of that. All right, what do you want me to repeat, Anam? We discussed about the Angular CLI that will help us run commands. All right, what we will do is open VS Code, then open the new terminal. And as soon as you open the terminal, now we will install the, since we have already installed Node.js, okay, now we will install Angular CLI. I will paste the command in the comment section. You can also see I have posted the command right here. Okay. Here is the command. Now what this command will do is it will install Angular CLI, and it can take more than a few minutes. So be patient, and as we go ahead, we will learn what to do next. Okay, what happens? So when this command runs, basic structure of an Angular project get created. Okay, so have all of you use this command? Okay, just a moment. I will also use this. So what we have to put is npm install dash g, that is for global installation. All right, and after it we will put angular dash CLI. Okay, make sure you enter the right command, as it will give error. Okay. So have all of you now, do you know where are you getting the error? Okay, done already. Nice. You have to write this command. I will tell you again in the terminal. How you can open the terminal is by clicking on new terminal right here. Then we will add this command, right? npm install, then -g and @angular/CLI. Okay, it can take a lot of time as well. So as soon as the command is complete, do tell me. Links. Okay, I will provide the link again. You can see I have provided the link already as well. Like right here. I'll put it again. Okay, make sure Node.js is installed. Like, okay, then start with this. See, as soon as it gets installed, this is what occurs. This is the output. Okay, I've seen that. Yes, you have to open a new terminal. Okay, how many people are getting error and how many of you have already got the output? Okay. Okay, one said installed and many of you are getting error 404. Okay, make sure you are typing this command npm install -g @angular/cli. If not, then check this again. Check the Node.js installation by typing this, the command prompt, and tell me if you are getting the result. Alright, some people have already installed. For the people who have already run the command, I will give you the next process. What we have to do is, next we will check if the Angular CLI is successfully installed. Okay, for the people who are getting the error, I will get back to you. And for the people who have already installed the Angular CLI, run the next command, that is ng-version. All right, this command. Okay, you can put it in this terminal only. It is this one. Okay, you can run it here itself, like this. Okay, the next command is ng-version. Now what it will do is, it will make sure that it will tell you if the CLI is installed properly. Okay, everyone, go ahead and run this command. I will also tell you how to do it. As soon as you get the output, please tell. Okay, this is the output. Every one of you who are getting. Okay, very good one is done. Others, have you got the same result? Here you can see the Angular CLI and its version here. Scripts is disabled. Okay, it might be if the settings in the VS Code are not properly done. Okay, what is happening? Just a moment. Okay, Aman, you said you have done the previous procedure, right? You have done that. Next, what you have to do is install CLI and run this command in the version. What it will do is it will check if the Angular CLI is installed. Okay, now we will move ahead. as soon as you check the version, what we'll do is we will now create a Angular project. Okay. For this, we have to do is we will create a new project by typing this command ng new and the name of the project. For now, I will name it as Angular. Okay. New and anything you want to name the project as. Here is the command, everyone. As soon as the installation is done, please tell. As soon as the project is ready, tell me. It can take a lot of time as well. Okay, so many of you might be getting this. So we just talked about routing, what routing is. So we obviously want to add Angular routing. So we will type yes, then we will be using CSS style sheet. Okay. See, this is what happens as we run this command. Okay, the project started installing. Many files will be created. Okay. Yes, just a moment. Okay, Aman. Okay, you can see this error on the website. Okay, yes, you can. Obviously, you saw there are many options that you can use as a style sheet. So what we will select for now is CSS. Okay, we went through the basics on the day one. Okay, which same error? Alright, after all the files will be created, the packages will be installed. Okay, this is the part which can take most of the time. Okay, who are the people who are running script are disabled? All right, just a moment. Is there anyone who have put this command and it is running? Okay, then just a moment. Okay, can any of you put the screenshot? Okay, just a moment. To create a new project, what we did was this ng new and the project name. Now, what you all are getting the error is something that I think I might have faced earlier as well. So, just a moment. Okay. You want me to type this command? Okay, then go ahead and start with these commands again. Open another folder. and type these commands one by one. Okay. Just a moment, I will send you a link that might help you with this. How many of you have already like किस किस का output मिल गया इसका? Yes, we have to add routing. किसी का output आया क्या अभी तक? Like you will get this. Package is successfully installed and successfully initialized Git. Okay. Now whoever is getting the running script error, no, it is you have to change the settings using the PowerShell. Okay, you will have to change the settings. Like if you want to open the PowerShell, there is an option right here. And sorry, you can open it as an admin. Here you will have to put some commands to change the settings. Okay. Okay, done. Are you have you solved the issue? I mean, have you referred to the link that was provided earlier? This one. Okay, how have others done it? Yes, yes. Just a moment. Anyone? This is the only. Forgot to mention this. You can use this link and start using the code sandbox.io. Okay. You can paste the link and here you can use Angular. Select Angular. Okay, anyone who is still having the trouble, you can use this. Okay, now we will move forward. I think we are done all the installation process. For now, I hope that many of you can see there is a project that is created here, right here. If you will open this, you can see the basic structure of the file. Okay. So These are some of the basic files that you will see every time you will run this command. So we will start understanding some of them. Okay, one of the important folder here is this src, that is source. अब ये ऐसा पार्ट होता है जिसमें सबसे ज्यादा डेवलपमेंट रहेगा. Alright, now there are other files here. We open the app folder right here. Okay, so app folder में क्या होता है कि सारी files और components होती है. Okay, then here is the angular.json system. Here's the angular.json file, then one is package.json file. Okay, I hope you all can see these files. Okay, please tell me in the chat box, are you able to see these files? Then if we talk about the other parts of the structure, then there is the index.html file. This is the entry file जिसमें हम सबसे ज़्यादा editing नहीं करते हैं. Like mostly it is for adding some of the important links if needed. And इसमें हमारा basic HTML code है. Like it contains the head part and the body part. Now you will say what is this? Okay. If we talk about what is app root, these are the basic components. Okay, that will always be there. Like whenever we start a new project. What happens is that the TS file that is present always has a selector which basically tells the nickname of the file of this component. Okay, now this is what we use to refer and add the component by. Okay, here we have added the component app root. Now what we will do is we will add other components that we have to use right here. For now, what we will do is we will run this file that we have just installed. Okay, using the ng-serve command. Okay, one thing I would like you all to know is that you don't have to know everything. Like जैसे जैसे आप projects आगे बनाओगे, so you will learn other parts. Okay, no, there is an issue here. Okay, sorry. The thing is that we are in the day 4. Sorry, this folder. What we have to do is we have to come to the project that we have created, that is the Angular folder. Okay. NZ version part. What you have to do after NZ version part is see you must have gotten this output. Okay, now what we will do is create a new project. That is this command. Then what we will do is we will get into the main project folder. That what I created is Angular. Now you must have created with the other name or the same. So what we will do is we will do cd and the name of the folder. What it will do is it will let you get to the next folder, that is Angular, that we wanted to access. Okay, so run the command, that is cd Angular. It is basic command that I think you must have heard. And after coming into the Angular folder, what we will do is we will run the project like this. Okay. And we will run using ng-serve. Okay, how many of you are following? Now this command might take a few minutes. Aman, choose CSS. There are many style sheet format that you can use. For now, you can select CSS. Okay, have all of you use this, like get into the folder that we just created, the project, using cd angular and run the project by using the command nzserv. Okay, put in the comment box if the command is still running or the command is completed. Okay, how many people have used this command yet? Everyone, please reply in the comment box. Okay, packages are still installing. Who else is doing the practicals? Okay, this command, what it will do is it will open our website or the web app on the port. So what the Angular uses is localhost 4200. This is the port that Angular uses. Okay, for now we can discuss about the structure. Okay, now we have other files here. Like if we talk about the app.component.html, this is where we will write a call to the other components using the selectors. Okay, the selectors that we just talked about in the app.component.ts file, like what we will use to refer app.component.html with the app root. Okay, as soon as we will create other components, we can access it using the other selectors. Okay, please post whatever issue you're facing into chat box. And okay, others, please tell me your status. Is everyone following? Please comment in the chat box. So if we talk about the other parts, like if we talk about app.component.css, what it will do is that this app folder that we have created, the HTML file here has a CSS file that is app.component.css. So if you want to change the CSS of the specific component, what we'll do is use the component CSS file of the same. Now, the one of the important files we talked about is index.html. We will try not to change much in it. Okay, and style.css. Okay, this is the global CSS file. Okay, if I will change anything or put any CSS here, what will happen is that the changes will reflect in every component. Okay, now as you can see, the file is created. Sorry, the file is running. So you can see the port is 4200. Now to access the link right here, you can do is click Control and click on the link. Okay, Control and click on the link. So the project will start running. Okay, so here you can see the app is running. How many people have done this? Okay, what to do after this? Okay, as soon as you have checked the install, Angular CLI. Just a moment. After Angular CLI installation, what you have to do is create a project. Okay, so for creating a project, run the command ng new Angular. Ng new Angular, it will create the project. Now we can see that. Now if we discuss about the app that is running, you can see there is an default favicon provided with the code, and the other HTML and CSS part that you are seeing here is present, right? You can see the code that is already present. This is what is there by default after installation. Okay, after the app project is created, this is what you get by default. This CSS and this HTML. Now what we will do is we will start by hello world. Okay. What we can do is you can see that the content below is in the placeholder can be replaced, but you can also see that you cannot replace this. What is router outlet? Okay, I hope that you all are following. So what router outlet is that it helps us load different components, that too dynamically. Okay, as soon as that, like we saw on YouTube, on a click of a button. Okay, now we will get ahead and start with the rest of the practical. Okay, after you have run the ng serve command, I hope you all have seen this as the output. Okay, very good, Kajal. Okay, now we'll move forward. So what we will do is we will remove all this. Okay. Make sure you don't remove the router outlet because it is what will help us change the components. We can say for now that this is for changing the components. Okay, we will create different components here. Okay. So we just discussed what is router outlet. Now what we will do is we will write hello world. So how we can do is we can do that is we can change the edit it right now. We'll write hello world in the app.component.html file. Now, as soon as I write hello world, you can see that the content is changing again and again. Okay, that is one of the advantages of Angular. Okay, now here you can see the output. Okay, in the app.component.html file. Sorry. As soon as I wrote hello world, you will see the output. It will get compiled again and you can see the changes getting reflected on the port 4200. All right, we'll move ahead and we will perform the rest of the practical. Now, what I'll do next is I will use the Ctrl+C command to stop the compilation. Okay. Now, why I did that was so that I can put some more commands and I can create other components. Okay, now we will start the routing part. Okay, so this was the structure of Angular project. What we will do is we will create some components next. Okay, like we discussed earlier, the command to create a component is ng new and the project name. Sorry, ng new and the component name. I will create a new component. The command is not this. For a component, we have to write generate component and the name of the component. That is, I will create a header in which I will, like for example, I want to add a nav bar to it. Okay, so this is where I will create a component. ng generate and the component name. Okay, it will take some time and we will get this output. So 4 files will be created. That is the HTML file, the spec file that we discussed is for testing, and the TS file and the CSS file. Okay, so I will create the other components now as the header file is already created. So what I can do is I can simply write ngDC as a short form and create the other components. For example, I want to create a footer and I'll create other components as well. So if we see header right here, we can see the 4 files, right? Now what we talked about the TS file earlier was that it consists of a selector. What selector does is consist of the name that we can refer to in this app.component.html to refer to the component that we will be creating more and more components. So I'll create one more component, that is, I'll name it as component 1. Okay. I'll create others as well. Okay, sure. Is it okay now? So other than header and footer, what we'll do is we'll create 3 components. That is, one is component 1, one is component 2, and one is component 3. Don't put the space there. Use this one instead. Okay, so I will create these 3 components now. You can see the component 1 is created. I can simply click on the up arrow key on the keyboard, and the command from before will be pasted. I can simply edit it and press enter. Okay, so the component file, as we can see, consists of these 4 files, and every HTML component file will consist of the HTML file, and each HTML file has a default name of the component and works. Okay, so that we can simply see we don't have to write default in everyone. Okay, and the last one is component 3. Okay, so now what we will do is we will add the header and footer part. We will call the header and footer part in the app dot. I will remove the hello world from here, and what I will do is I will call the app dash header component by putting this command. As we discussed earlier, that this is what will help us call the whole component, right? So, for example, I will do ng serve again, and we will see the output, like if we have added the header to the app.component.html file. Okay, now what will happen is, what I want is that I want header to be a fixed part. I don't want it to get changed again and again. Okay. And I will call the other components that I want to be fixed. Okay, that is the footer. What I want is that the content between header and footer should get changed as I work on it. Right. Now, as soon as the serve command will run, what I will see in the output is the what is present in the app dash header file, that is header component, what is present in the footer, and in between is what I'll see when I'll add the routing to it. You can see the output. We can see the HTML files of both the components, that is header and footer. Now, why we are not getting the output from router outlet is because I have not yet done the routing. So for routing, what we will do is we will go to the app routing module file, this one. Okay, now what I will do is I will create the routing part. For that, first of all, what I will do is I will import the components by writing import. Little curly braces, I will write the component name by typing component 1. Okay, you can see we get a option to create it. Okay, and where it is getting imported from. Okay, the location it will autocomplete. Next, I will import the second component and the third component. This is the component 2. And lastly, I will import the component 3. Sorry, only component 3. Okay. Now to add the routing, we will use this const routes. Okay, and what I'll do is I will give the path and the component name for the same. Like I want to create the path for component 1. I'll write the path. So path, what is path? I will tell you. You can see what is written after YouTube here, right? This is path. Now what I want to name the path and which component I want to be rendered. Okay, that I'll mention here. I want the path name to be comp1. Okay. Okay, if you have any other doubts, please mention in the chat box. I will give the path as com1 and I will give the component name that I want to be rendered as soon as this path is called. Okay, this is for component 1. Then write a comma for before starting with the next one. Then other path, it is for component 2. And I will like component 2 to be rendered as soon as this path is called upon. And lastly, path for the component 3. Okay. Now, if I see the output, the router output will still not show anything, as I have not mentioned what will happen when there is no other path mentioned right here. Like if it is com1, you can see the component 1 gets rendered. This is the path that we allotted to the component 1. So this component works. But what I want to do is that when there is no path mentioned ahead of it, then I want component 1 to be rendered. So what I'll do is I'll add another path and component do is path that will be for invalid or the empty section. I will give 2 starts. Okay, this 2 asterisk means that whenever the path is empty ahead of the localhost 4200, I want to be redirect to the component 1. So I'll put redirect to and the name of the path of the component 1. Okay. So if I remove this and press enter, you can see that it just redirects me to component 1's path. Okay, I will remove it again. Now I press enter. See, it got redirected to the component 1. Okay, for additional part, what we can do is we will create a link to the other components from component 1. Okay, first I will add the BR tag. That is because I want to leave a line below it. Okay, and finally what I want to do is I will add a hyperlink. Now, why would I not use hyperreference, that is href, for the same? This one, what it will do is it will load the page again. As we discussed, what we want is the page should not be reloaded again and again. So instead, what I will do is I will add a router link by using this. And what I will mention is the rest part. That is by using this format. Okay, now I will mention the component that I want to access as soon as this link will be used. Okay, I want to name this component 2. Okay. You can see the link is created, and as soon as I will click on it, the component 2 should be rendered. Okay, I mentioned the wrong component here. The path that I mentioned for component 2 was com2. So as soon as I will click on the link now, okay. First of all, I would really like to know if you all are following. Okay, this one. Okay, so others, if you are following, mention in the comment box. Okay, I'll also mention this slash. Now this is what I will paste in the chat box in case anyone wants to perform the same practical. Okay, for adding the router link to a link tag. Okay, now we'll see the output. Okay, now you can see the component 2 is rendered as soon as I click on the link. Okay, now what I will do is I will add the link to other as well, other components. Okay, this was component 1, so I used it to get to the component 2. What I'll do is I will use it to the component 2 to get to the component 3, and I will use the component 3 to get back to component 1. Okay, you can see the output. If I click on the link, you can see I got to the component 3. As soon as I click on the link present in the component 3, that is to component 1, I will get back to the component 1. Okay, so has anyone completed or got the output? And I will paste the code for the same. Okay, the GitHub link to it on the group. All right, so this was the practical part for today. Now we have done we have created the components, then we created some more components, that is the header, footer, and the components that we wanted to change over time was component 1, 2, and 3 that we just performed. All right, and lastly what we wanted to do was routing part. Okay, so I'm hoping everyone has a clear concept on the same. We performed routing and the basic operations and learned the structure. Okay, now there might be some questions like if there can be more than one router outlet. So I would say yes, and the router module dot for root is what we use for providing all the routes in the app module. That is, if we see the app routing module.ts file, we see this ng module part where we mention the different modules, like the router module that we were using for now was for root, and what we did was added paths to the different components in the file app routing module.ts. Okay, there's one more thing that I would like to add, that there's a reason. Okay, just do. Okay, so there's a reason why I added path to the invalid link at the last. Okay, in app module. Okay, why I added invalid or the empty part to the end was because if I would have added this at the start. Okay, let me do it. Okay, if I'll do this, what will happen is that the links won't work. And why? Because it will assume that if it will assume, now see the code is now recompiled. Okay, now we can see the output. If I click on the link, it will not load. Why? Because it is assuming that it is invalid or the path is not mentioned, and so it will not change. So that is the reason why we add the invalid path at the end. Okay, like this. So this was the end of the practical session. Okay, so if we discuss what my final thoughts will be on Angular, is that Angular can handle high loads. It can help us design and create single page applications and make the development process easier. Okay, there are much more benefits to it, which can be summed up through this session. We discuss much more. And at last, summary of the event. That is, we discussed what is Angular, important terms in Angular, evolution, and we learned about the different parts of Angular and we performed a practical. Okay. So I think this is enough learning for today, and I hope all of you will make efforts to develop a productive portfolio using Angular framework. This will be the task for today. So whoever will make the best portfolio will get a shout out on our social media websites, and be make sure to unleash your creativity on the same. Okay. Now I will like to call Shelza to take the event further.
Thank you, Khushi, for sharing knowledge with us. Now it's time for Q&A session, and after the Q&A session an amazing fun quiz will be there for all the participants. Now you can ask any questions or doubts regarding all the topics that we have covered today, and you can ask your questions through chat box.
Okay, for the PPT part, you can visit the YouTube channel and the recording will be up uploaded on the same. Let me share the link.
It is well said. If you continuously compete with others, you become better. But if you continuously compete with yourselves, then you become better. With this, let's move towards the fun quiz. The quiz will be on for 5 to 10 minutes and it will have 7 multiple choice questions. The link to the quiz will be posted in the chat box. Also, the overall winners of the quiz will be announced on day 6. For the quiz, please follow the specified name, as only those participants with the correct name format will be eligible for the prizes. The format is your name underscore year underscore college. For example, Mohisha underscore 3 underscore AITR. So people get ready and your time starts now. Link for the quiz is shared in the chat box. I would request all the participants to join the quiz fast. I request all the participants to join the quiz fast. We will be starting soon. We are starting the quiz now. I hope you all must have attended the quiz by now, and we will end the quiz soon. Hope you all had fun attending the quiz. It was a pleasure to see so much excitement and enthusiasm from everyone today. Tomorrow we will be having Mr. Prashil Soni as a speaker for the topic Node.js. Meet you all in tomorrow's session to continue the journey of web development. The link to the attendance form is posted in the chat box, so I request all the participants to fill the attendance form. The link to our Discord server and social media platforms are posted in the chat box. You all can join our community on Discord and other social media platforms to get updates about events and workshops and interact with our GDSC team. Till then, stay curious, keep learning, keep growing. Thank you.